Testing. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. All right. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Very good. So here we are. Once again, painting all the things here in the Pocket Dimension. Sorry if I'm a little bit late. I was watching Build Paint Play, and it was a great episode with the guys from Hive Scum Podcast, who run a little convention called Under the Dice in Connecticut at their local Elks Club meeting hall. So anyway, this is the Remorhaz. I've just got to finish the eyes, but I did the base tonight, so I want to let the base dry up and get complete before messing with the eyes. So that is what we're giving away over on Twitch for the Twitch supporters. So I'm gonna finish that up. I got it mostly finished, but mostly ain't all the way, right? So 100%. The eyes are the last thing to do. So I don't know if I'm gonna do the drawing tonight or Thursday night. I don't know how Thursday's gonna be. I've got a big job that's going on, and I don't know if I'll be able to get back in time. It won't be 7 o'clock, I don't think. So anyway, we got 2 Remorhaz to give away. So we'll be giving away Dad and Lad, so to speak. That's the plan, anyhow. And let's see. Let's get a little bit of this Gorgon hide. Gorgon hide. I don't think it has anything to do with Gorgonzola. We'll add a little Gorgon hide to the Vallejo Snow. This is Army Painter. The old style war paints, Gorgon hide. It works. I haven't switched over. I haven't really gotten into the new Army paints. I do have the British Army paints, the British historicals from World War II Army paints from Army Painter. Looking forward to getting into those. I've got some British guys to paint up anyway, so that's probably going to be a thing. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. I've got a project to use it on, so that was pretty cool. How did I get the early copy of the British set of Army Painter Army Paints? Well, I got them from the 2 newest members of the Army Painter factory team, Dave Taylor and Jake Krajewski, who were giving it away on their podcast called Build Paint Play, which you should be watching at 7 o'clock every Tuesday night. Now, they won't be on for the next couple of weeks because Dave is going to go to England. Sorry, Britain. Well, I think mostly just the English part of Britain. So in the next couple of weeks they won't be there, but they have a wonderful backlog of shows that you could watch while you're waiting for Dave to return from his adventures across the sea. So and as always, if you want to help the channel out, there are several things you can do. If you're watching on YouTube, you can like, share, and subscribe. Those are always free. Always appreciated. If you are on Rumble, pretty much the same thing. I don't know if you can join the channel on Rumble though. I don't think I'm up to that level yet, but Definitely give a follow if you are watching on the Rumble. Help us grow there. Help us grow. Help me grow there. There's no us. Oh, there is an us. All the people that are watching, because if you're here, you're participating. Some would say. So, and if you are on Twitch and you're watching the first time, why don't you drop a follow? You can also become a subscriber on Twitch, and you would be eligible for winning one of these wonderful little monsters that I paint each month. And as we get more membership options on other platforms, it will become open to anybody who becomes a member on the other platforms as well. But that's a long way to go. But if you want to help us get there, want to help me get there, sorry, us, that's you and I, you whoever are watching. That's you and I. We are us. So but if all you can do is like, share, and subscribe, then that is plenty good for me. There are, of course, going to be nice. There are, of course, drawings at times for everybody, general populace, gen pop. So definitely become a follower, and you will become eligible for other giveaways that I like to do from time to time. When I get to the 400 mark, I'm going to be giving away a copy of Warcrow. I was hoping to get to that point earlier. I've had this copy of Warcrow since last August when I got it at Gen Con when it just came out. So, if you want to get in on that. Other ways you can support the channel are visit my sponsor Dubby at dubby.gg and use my code ROCKETFUEL, ROKKITFUEL, for 10% off of your purchase, and that gives me a little cash on the back end. Not my back end, the back end. That means after you do your purchase and they get their whatever, I get a little something for promoting them. And I do like their product. I use it from time to time. Sometimes it's too hot for coffee. Or I want something quick, a quick pick me up. So a little Dubby energy drink does it for me. Like tonight, just mixed it in with a little water. Gave me a little bit of a pickup. I was really dragging when I came home from work today. But this broadcast is brought to you by Dubby. So, all right. We'll let his base dry up, or her base. It could be either one. Don't know. And then I'll do the eyes on these and have those complete. So looking forward to having those finished up. Now, what am I going to do tonight? I'm actually going to go to bed a little early tonight. So I'm going to probably not do too much, not get into too many shenanigans here. Let's see, what do we got here? I probably need to clean out this water. I've been using that for cleaning stuff, so give me just a moment and I will be right back. Pumpkin buddy, you're gonna have to get out. Out, out, out. Well, he's under the shelves right now. So excuse me. Pardon me. All right, so let's go ahead and paint up some more of these crates and barrels here. I tell you what, I'm really having a good time painting up crates and barrels. So we're gonna do that tonight because it's easy. It's non-committal. Not getting into anything too involved. Hello, Pumpkin. How are you? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna knock off tonight? What are you gonna knock off onto the floor tonight? You gonna knock off something on the floor? If I can evict you first. I know you hate getting evicted from the pocket dimension, but the Professor Pumpkin's Gravimetric Studies Institute is not welcome in this establishment. All right. He's such a good boy. He is such a good boy. All right, let's go ahead and paint some crates and barrels here. And we'll stick it down like that. And we'll pick up some paint. And we'll just get it all over the place. I generally stream twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Lately, things have been crazy between health and work. It's just not been real conducive to my schedule. But this past weekend, I hosted a paint and take at a local convention. And we had about 40, close to 40, between 30 and 40 participants. So it was more than 30, but less than 40. So it was really cool. Really enjoyed it. Seemed like everybody had a good time. So I think there's some kids that have found new hobby. Like I always say, any hobby can be as expensive or as cheap as you make it. So if you're buying like the Reaper figures and the Wizkids figures, and you buy 2 or 3, if you buy a box, like one of the boxes, like the starter boxes of paints from like the Army Painter, or monument hobbies, depending on what you like. I like them both. And if you ever see a picture of me with my paints in the behind me, um, you know that I'm not real particular about what brand paint I use. Though there are some brands that I will stay away from because I don't like the people behind them. So as you get further into the hobby, you learn about some of these weird little drama scenes. And generally, I'm not too worried about like boycotts and big moralistic displays, but there are just some people that, I mean, life is too short, for a lot of that stuff. But there are just some people that it's like, no, you're not getting my money. I did not care for what you did to certain people or the way you conduct yourselves in the merchant space, or some of the decisions you've made, or things you've failed to acknowledge that you've done wrong. And I don't have to give them my money. There are so many options out there right now. So many options. If I put my foot down and sat a little bit better, I would probably not have so much pain in my back. So, yes, back pain. That's what happens when you are a blue collar worker. Yep. Been working by myself for quite a bit now. It's kind of frustrating not having a team or a helper. It's one of those things. If I could find something better, I would. Well, even something that was equal in pay. Now, it doesn't have to be better. Equal in pay that I actually, even if it wasn't the greatest job, maybe if it was something new, I might be a little more enthusiastic about it. As long as there's more than one person that works, right? But that's what happened. I had my team leader found a better job, and it was just me and him mostly on our crew. And then it was just me, and that just makes it very difficult to keep up. You get a project, and then you get service calls, and everybody wants everything now. And then if you're sick, like last month I missed a week and a half last month. It was awful. Was it last month? Yeah, April. Because March I went to Adepticon and I didn't get con cred. So because I got sick, but it wasn't con cred. It was like 2 weeks afterwards. And I took a COVID test. It wasn't that. So hey, Itzy. That's Miar, right? Yeah, Miar is out there. Miar. Hey, Miar. How's it going? Yeah, well, I'm better now. I mean, of course, I obviously, but now it's allergy season. Although they haven't really attacked me too terribly. Sinuses were bothering me a little bit last week, but I get a little sneeze here and there, but I still got a little bit of the chest congestion. It's just not quite gone away. But, so, hey, Miar. So, here is the monthly monster, almost complete. Um, I got to finish the eyes, so I'll probably do the drawing on Thursday. I don't know what time I'll be in on Thursday. I got to make a. It may be a very long day. Trying to get this project done before next week. So kind of a drop dead date. And here's the younger one. So yeah. So those will be going out when I do the drawing on Thursday ish. So Miar says his shoulders are bad. Work has been rough on him, and his shoulders are bad right now too. Yep. Well, I think that's called getting old, Miar. And work is work, right? My problem is I'm so overloaded. I can't get to everything I'm supposed to, and I just figure one day I'm going to get a call from my boss and say, go home. Turn in your keys and go home. Now, what would I do if that ever happened? I don't know. Probably get caught up on some content creation. Not that I'd make any money off of it. You know, only about 1% of all YouTube channels are monetarily successful. I don't know, online painting classes? Why? I mean, I teach everything I know right here, you know. I've never paid it. I've never won any awards, so I can't exploit that kind of a thing, you know. Have got some things on boxes though, so I guess that counts for something. It's almost as good as an award, probably better. Why would you have to have an award to have something on boxes though? Got to remember, my work is valid too. Just because I don't have a big shiny trophy on my shelf, spend thousands of hours on one figure. Sometimes I feel like I do. But no, I like to get things table ready, maybe a little bit better than table ready. You know. We'll see how late I can go tonight. I'm feeling pretty good. Thanks to Dubby. A little energy drink action kicked in there. Like I said, I was dragging quite a bit. But I had some chicken tendies and poured myself a pint of water and mixed a serving of Dubby into it, and I felt pretty good afterwards. So it went all right. Aside from your shoulders aching, Miar, and work being what it is, how's the rest of everything in your life? Working on any painting projects lately? I haven't really checked much on the Discord, so I don't know if you posted anything or not lately. You had some things going on there, I saw, but I don't know if you got back to them. I think I saw you post something over on DD's um, Discord. Folks, I got to get some things out. I've got a whole pile of stuff to send out to a lot of people from the Streamiversary celebration. I'm so far behind on everything. A lot of that's on me, though, because that could be something I could do on a Saturday, but I always forget about Saturdays because I always sleep in, and by the time I wake up on a Saturday, post office is closed. New IRL game to play with my wife called Canvas. Canvas. Oh yeah. I think you mentioned something about going on a shopping spree. I think I remember that. So, Canvas, that sounds interesting. Is that a game about painting, or are you an art curator, or what's the premise of that game? Scratched at some plastic for the first time last night and did the charcoal of my gramps. Yeah, since you did the charcoal of your gramps, right. The only thing you did was the charcoal? Yeah. Well, that was very good. That was an excellent piece of work. No doubt your family appreciated it very much. Alright, I'm just doing a lot of little crates and barrels here because I always seem to get crates and barrels. And then I drop them on the floor. Have a clear cards of images that can be stacked on top of each other to create an image. Okay. That sounds interesting. I might have to keep my eye open for that one. I'm always looking for games. The game scoring is super fun and makes your brain work depending on the goals you put in. Very cool. That sounds like one of those games you could play with anybody, that, especially people that aren't necessarily gamers per se. You know, it never fails that you drop the one thing you're working on and it just always disappears. There, I swear there is a dimensional gate that hovers 1 centimeter from the surface of any workspace. And sends your project into a parallel dimension. I found it. Hopped into the dimensional rift and found it. I was able to pull it out of the negative zone. Just cleaned my boots with saddle soap. One boot left to oil and condition. Nice. That's always a good idea. It's never a bad idea. It's a good time to do it too. Summertime. So hope you weren't too affected by those storms that rolled through the other night. There we are. I mean, I sort of know where you're at. I know there were some storms that came through that area, but they had them quite a bit down around where we're at here. We were sort of in line, but they kind of petered out before they got to where I am. And they also went south of us. But you might have heard of the big tornado that went through Somerset and London, Kentucky. I know a lot of people down there, and I haven't heard from them, so hopefully they're all right. So far, I guess the death toll was 14 or 16 so far. It may have gone up by the end of the day. I don't know. But I'm sure I'll hear more over the next few days as people get to a point where they're able to start checking in. But I spent a lot of time down there in that area. Lots of friends. Lots of little projects. Lots of little jobs. So yeah, the wind was crazy. Lots of tornadoes. Yep. I saw my old hometown was in the path of some of those storms, but I didn't hear if anything really. I don't think anything actually formed up and hit them. I think most of that kind of petered out before they got there, because my old hometown is about 50 miles south of me, due south, 60 miles, 50 or 60 miles. But I moved away because there was no easy way to get to work here. Any way you cut it, it took an hour and a half within minutes, you know. You could drive up over the hills through twisty, turny roads and possibly tangle with an early morning logging truck, which that happened about once a year. Somebody was always getting pancaked by a logging truck that was taking up its half out of the middle in your side. So I decided I didn't want to drive that direction much, and then I could drive east on the highway, and then I could take a couple of different directions to backtrack to get here. You survived though. Lots of tornadoes, lots of wind. Okay, well, good. Well, I mean, I'm glad you survived, or else I'd be really feeling strange talking to somebody that didn't survive. No, that's good. No doubt it was exciting evening, exciting times with the wind and the tornadoes around where you were at. So you guys had them too, huh? Because you're considerably further north than most of those places. I know it was a lot of that storm was down south here, and even further down south, like Arkansas. That whole line of storms was just absolutely ridiculous. You know, it's been raining a little crazy here last few days. That's about it. Well, today it was raining pretty good, off and on. Some people were thinking we were going to get more, but I don't think we did. You had many tornadoes up there. Ah, yeah, I know there was some in Wisconsin just north of you as well, I think. So, hopefully hopefully they weren't as devastating as the ones that hit down in my old stomping grounds, Miar. That was just awful. Of course, it hits at night, right? So, and a lot of these places don't have adequate storm warning, like sirens. What's funny is there's a rail yard down the road from me, and sometimes they have a siren that sounds similar to a storm siren that goes off at about 1:30 in the morning. You can just barely hear it, but it's louder than any storm siren I've ever heard in my life. It's like, isn't this town supposed to have really good storm warning facilities that I live in? And it's supposed to. Um, the town next to us, just to the east of us, got obliterated by a tornado back in the 60s. Like, obliterated. Like, the flat part, everything in the flat part of town is pretty much been, all the homes there are new homes since the 1960s. So, there's a few that are still standing that weren't are older than that, but most of those down in the flat part of that town, in the valley side, were all built in this just after that. So I don't know what it is with YouTube. From time to time, the YouTube chat will stop and it won't update. I don't understand why. What can I say? So if you're typing and I'm not responding, I apologize. All right, let's see. So I'm probably going to do this for another 20 minutes or so. Then I got to get to bed or else I won't be able to get up in the morning. Early mornings. Trying to do 10s, maybe 12s on this project to get caught up. So far, so good with responding. Okay, good, Miar. I was a little concerned. I didn't see anything going there, and there's been times where I've shut down and I saw a whole lot of chat going on the YouTube side of things, and or I saw it after the fact, you know. So I just always want to check. Get a little nervous sometimes. Thanks for uh, thanks for checking on that for me, Miar. Appreciate it. Yeah, I got a lot of things I got to send out. Maybe I can get that done this weekend. Well, it's Memorial Day weekend, so I don't know. Will the post office be open? It should be open on Saturday. I know it wouldn't be running on Monday, obviously. No problem. I'm glad it's no problem. Appreciate it. That's good. But I tell you, one thing that I enjoy is running paint and takes. Now, I wish that I could run games of Tech Commander and Sail Power, but my problem is not that I have a problem doing that. The problem is that there's only one of me, and I can actually do more good for building the hobby community with a paint and take than I can running a game that might reach only 12, 10 or 12 people who would hopefully take that game and buy that game and play it with their friends and the like. But getting kids into painting is kind of important. It's actually not a bad thing from a societal standpoint. That's too big of a word. Um, my word shouldn't be societal, but teachers have said that kids need this kind of thing for spatial relationships and spatial manipulation. So take that for what you will. If it was closer, I'd be hanging on the door to ask Timmy can come out and play, right? No doubt. Well, maybe next year you can come and play with us at Adepticon. And we got some snazzy new boats too. Brian has been working like a madman on the new Captain series. And the Captain series of boats models are absolutely, number one, they're beautiful. Number two, they are easy to build. So don't mistake easy to build with low detail or simplistic, but they're easy to build and get on the table quickly. Now, I always recommend painting before building, but the building part is a lot easier than the old stuff. The old ways, you had to build your own mast and build your own yard arms, and all the parts came in the kit, but there was a lot of cutting and measuring and gluing, and the new Captain Series kits are absolutely terrific. They have sails that are even molded in or printed off and molded to the masts. So all you do is you just open up the hole for where the mast goes, because it's 3D printed, so you're going to have odd sizes of holes. Usually you have to open it up just a little bit with a drill bit, hobby knife, or a rasp file, like a little bead rasp that you would get at Michael's in the beading section. You know. So super easy. Yeah, well, that's the thing is they were fun but time consuming. There it was a basically basically the construction of the old models were a kind of a barrier in and of themselves. They were a barrier to people's hobby. So this way, it opens up the hobby to more people, I think. So that's never a bad idea. So it makes hobbying easy. It makes putting the model together easy. It makes getting him on the table easy. And it doesn't really sacrifice really much in the way of accuracy, because Brian's holes are more accurate than anybody else's holes, quite honestly. So per ship, they're a little bit more expensive because there's a little more work put into the production thereof. But each player only needs one or two. You could run two, or you could run one big ship. Most players only play one ship at a time because you only really need to run one ship at a time. because you are the captain. Think of the ship as your character in a role playing game. That's kind of how the game plays. That's the conceit behind it. You are the captain. You are the master and commander. Your word is law. You are God on the high seas. So you can tell your crew to sail the ship and they sail the ship. You don't have to micromanage it. You make the decisions of where to go and what to do and who to fight or not to fight, or and it's not just about fighting. There is a huge exploration and commerce aspect to the game as well. So that's something I really enjoy, is that it's not solely focused on just going out and slobber knocking somebody. I mean, you can do that, and eventually you will run afoul of somebody, possibly. Some perfidious pirate comes along across your tack, and you'll be asked to face him. Although maybe not. It just depends on who you're playing with, a lot of times. It's a game that works well with a game master, but it is not incumbent upon you to have a game master. You basically just agree to the parameters on the board, and you would roll a dice to see how non-player characters react to what you do. If you've ever played Sid Meier's Pirates, there's a lot. It's very similar. In some respects, there's a lot of inspiration taken there. So I've really gotten into building crates and barrels, or painting crates and barrels, I should say. I thought it was kind of neat. You know, big pile of possessions here. For people to find or to use as terrain in a game. Um, I've actually got I've got a whole thing full of terrain bits, Wizkids type terrain bits. So, piles of gold, more chests, barrels, tables, more barrels, another pile of gold. So all sorts of neat little, here's a set of stocks. If you've ever wanted to be in a rock band, you can get into Iron Maiden. They might even find you of being guilty of being a racketeer. I even got some pillars of the community. Sorry, the puns just keep getting worse and worse. Or better, or better and better. I don't know which. Hey, old Manchu Warrior. How you doing? Good to see you. How's everything in your world tonight? Kind of what you need is to rain, Miar. So how's old Manchu Warrior doing tonight? Speaking of Manchu Warriors, there's a new Karate Kid movie coming out at the end of the month. I just saw the ads, which is really kind of disconcerting that the ads would just now be playing for a movie that comes out at the end of May. Now maybe those ads have been going for a lot longer than that, but it's the first I've seen them. Of course, I don't really watch TV or anything, and I haven't been to the movies in ages. So pretty good. Just finished my stream. Nice, nice. What were you working on your stream, Manchu? Tanks and planes and snips and snails and puppy dog tails? Gribbly monsters? Do tell. World War II half track. Nice. Now, is that a Sidkovitz or is that the M3? Because everybody seemed to have half tracks back then. Which I used to work with a fella that actually had his own private. He had quite the collection of military jeeps, military vehicles, and he had an M113. Actually, it was the command variant. It was the M114, and which is a little bit shorter than the 113, and it's got a little cupola for a field commander to look out. So he had that, and then he had Land Raiders, Land Rovers. I mean, Land Raiders, Land Rovers. He had a couple of Land Rovers. He had several different iterations of Jeeps. He had a bomb casing that could be outfitted with a nuclear warhead. He had, let's see, he had all sorts of tank bits and pieces. He had some, he had an aiming scope from I don't know what year it would have been, but it would have gone right down. It would have poked right out the mantlet, which I don't know if it was. I don't think it was a Sherman gun sight, but it was definitely early post-war. You know, it might have been like M48 or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. M577. Hey, Miar. Miar has been subscribed for 15 months. M3A1. M577. Okay, yep. Yeah, the M577. Actually, the 577 has the big humpback on, doesn't it? I thought that had the big humpback on it. That's the 577. There was another one that was actually a 114 that was short, just a little shorter than a 113. Because the 577 is still in use to some extent, but this one was actually in use, then out of use pretty quickly. Yeah, the 114 is small. Yeah, and see they used that one for a command for a little while. Yeah, it was a 114. But I mean the new 577, I say new, is the command version. You're right, of the 113, but this was before the 577 came out. Yeah, it was a 114. And they did use that as a command ride because it really didn't have the capacity for carrying guys. So they would load it up with radio equipment, from what I understand, and throw the lieutenant in there. Yeah, yeah, it was. That's right. It was unreliable. Well, I mean, that's why they threw the lieutenant in it. I mean, they figure if it couldn't go, he couldn't get everybody lost, right? All right, I'm getting. If they put the 671 in them like the 113, it could have helped. Yeah, probably, probably. But everybody's got to do things differently. So whoever designed the 114 was probably wanting to write his name on the sky with it. So had to do things differently and make a name for themselves. That's actually something really big in the defense community. The things you make, what you can put your name on, what you can put your stake on, instead of making sure that it works and works right and works good. If somebody comes up with a better idea on the thing you're working on and you don't like it, and if you've got the seniority, you can downvote it and be like, nope, we're doing this. I knew a guy that was very proud that he had figured out that he had designed the system for aircraft carrier elevators to keep them from falling back down. Evidently, aircraft carrier elevators would fall down with airplanes on them. And so he figured out how to basically arrest them from falling down like they had been. He's pretty proud of that, I guess. That was his thing. Well, Mjar, the Wizkids terrain packs are not too bad, and sometimes you can find them in on eBay where people have just gathered several of them together and kind of made a package out of them. So if you need more than one, I think it's kind of funny paying $5 for 2 barrels, but I just happen to get these in lots of other. I bought lots of miniatures. Lot not okay. I buy lots of miniatures, but I bought these lots of miniatures to use in paint and takes. I didn't buy lots of miniatures. I bought lots of miniatures. Miniatures in lots. That's a good way to say it. And a lot of them had these terrain bits in there, and I figured nobody wants to sit around and paint barrels. So I held on to them. Held on to some of them. I did put some of them out so people can paint barrels and crates if they want to, but a few people do. I'm just happy to see people painting something, anything. So that's a good undercoat of browns on these guys tonight. So it's 10:24 my time. Don't really have too much more damage I can do here, I think. So I'm going to put a pin in it and come back on Thursday night, hopefully, if work. The last couple of weeks work, because I've had night work, so haven't been able to do anything. So Thursdays have been a little lax, and Tuesdays as well there. So I might see you on Thursday. It may be a little bit later than my usual 7 o'clock Thursday start. So, but we'll see about getting these monthly monsters. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Monthly monster. Dad and lad. They'll go to different homes or maybe the same home. Hard to say. And because we're going to be doing kind of a makeup drawing. We're not drawing makeup, but hopefully we'll get to do that on Thursday evening. But I may be a little bit late. I'm not sure how late I'm going to work on Thursday. I just got to see how far along on this project I am. So the gentleman wants to be able to use that space next Tuesday, so got to get it done. So that is going to be it for tonight. And I'm going to say good night to YouTube. Good night to Rumble. But before I go, always remember, no matter how bad today might have been for you, The sun is coming up tomorrow, and the world is a better place with you in it. So I'm going to say goodnight to YouTube and Rumble.